Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the November meeting of the Public Works Committee. May I have the clerk call the roll?
I have here Chairperson McGraw, Supervisor Syed, Matt Yellow,
Microphone, Kathy.
Treminsky, Alina Finnan, Paul Briggs, Laura Robinson, Michelle Martinelli, Pete Rackvicka, and Seth Goldstein. Did I miss anyone?
Nope, it looks good. Thank you very much. Okay. Matt Yetto. Oh,
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to go through the minutes, so we'll just go to admin and engineering. Great, thank you.
Okay, so admin engineering, just the regular COVID-19 update. We did have one staff member who was in a precautionary quarantine for 10 days. He's returned to work with no issues. Other than that, everything seems to be going well. We're still entering homes, doing all the meter change outs without any issues.
Okay.
And Matt, sorry to interrupt that. Respectfully, I submitted a request to submit to speak at privilege of the board. I don't know if you want to do that later.
No, oh, sure, you certainly can. Okay, I wasn't made aware of that. I just knew you were attending.
Yeah, I submitted it the other day.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Kevin Walsh, 2843 Whitmire Drive. For full disclosure, chairman of the planning board and a 26-year resident of Whitmire Drive, and I'm speaking as a resident of Whitmire Drive. Just a couple things, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. One is regarding the SOAR extension. That's item 3A on today's agenda. I just, I follow the meeting. I do watch all the meetings, and there hasn't been detailed discussion. I know I've communicated with Paul Briggs over the past year, and I just wanted to do a closeout of where I understand it to be, the SOAR extension. I'm not speaking on behalf of any of the residents. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself, but here's my understanding. So this SOAR extension or proposal for SOAR extension included 6 homes on Whitmire Drive. There's actually 8 addresses on Whitmire Drive, but 6 were included because I think it made sense at the time. Where we ended up with that is my understanding is that we're at 3 people that are thumbs up or interested. Whether or not they formally submitted that, that's my understanding, and there's 3 people that have not responded. So that leaves us at 50-50 pretty much. Requires greater than 50% of the assessed value in order for the SOAR extension to go forward. It turns out, looking at the numbers of the property values from the letter that was submitted, and I think they're the same still, it comes out to 49.3. So basically, less than a percentage point, we missed the SOAR extension by including those homes, which is unfortunate. Not excited about a grinder pump, but I did my research. I'd be happy to have that, in case someday my septic does fail. It'd be nice to have that opportunity, right? So that's kind of where we stand. The only option we have is now is that maybe somebody changes their mind, which I doubt, and I've talked to Mr. Briggs or communicated with Mr. Briggs about this, is that the Whitmire property at the end of the street, that's 2895. If that was not included, right now, my understanding is they have an outside users agreement. If that outside user agreement were to be, understood as being a responsibility to tie into the SOAR because of that outside user agreement, that would put us over the threshold and allow it to go forward. So that's 2895. When I talked to Mr. Briggs, he said that they had no benefit from it. I don't know if that's the criteria or not. I respect Mr. Briggs, but if that's an opportunity, I'd like to at least have that explored because that would put us over the edge. It turns out a lot of people on the street now have generators. So even with a grinder pump, they're in great shape if they lose power. So that's my understanding of where it stands. And I'd be glad anytime to participate or talk to anybody, Matt or Mr. Briggs, Denise, on the status of that. The other thing I just want to speak about was item 5A, which of course is a high strength waste that we've been working on for some time. Obviously a lot of information in the paper concerned with costs. As you all know, from every year I talk about this, my concern isn't cost, it's quality of life and safety on the street. So the only thing I'd like to ask again of this committee is we had a mitigation meeting, which was actually to be 1 year ago tomorrow. And I really haven't heard anything from that mitigation meeting. Even the items that were put forth at that meeting, nothing's happened. I submitted probably 2 pages of suggestions. Again, I'm willing to work on it to help out. I understand that trucks are going to come, but I'd like to be able to get involved and and work toward, making everybody happy if that's possible. Okay? So thank you for listening. Appreciate the time.
I know the mitigation meeting was chaired by the supervisor in her role with this committee, so I don't know if she wants to talk about the mitigation meeting.
Sure, I can jump in. Really, everything has ostensibly been on hold pending DEC approval of other types of high-strength organic waste. So, just by nature of that fact, we had the mitigation meeting, but we're really just in a holding pattern until we have any indication that we're going to be moving forward. And we are optimistic. So at the time that we hopefully are going to receive some word back from DEC, we can then pick up where we left off the last time.
Yeah, and I know privilege of the floor is not a back and forth, but one comment is that, you always be proactive. You don't wait until there's a problem and the residents and everybody gets upset. Now is the opportunity to have mitigation plans in place so that when it does happen, and I know a lot of people would like to generate lots of revenue there, and some of the mitigation things are pretty simple. So again, I'd be glad to help out and be proactive
Great.
on this instead of reactive. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. And some of those items have been discussed both in this committee as well as Public Safety Committee. So some of the items that were easy actionable items, those are progressing, and those have been. So I can actually put together sort of an update on where we are with some of those items that, like I said, are the easy actionable items.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you for speaking. That leads us into attorney's items.
Good morning. Pierce Road, Matt's working on getting a specs out so we can have that put out to bid. The city water bill, I met with the city attorney. We had some discussions. We're at the point where we need to have a meeting with town officials and city officials. We were talking about sometime the third week of November. I'm going to circulate some dates about that. Country Club area, the utility easements are ready to submit. I've got two or three more I've got to try to track down. Every time I go, no one's home. But that won't stop us from moving forward with the project. Dish Network, I submitted a proposed fee structure to Dish Network about a month ago. We're waiting to hear back on what their response is. I also had some issues with some of their contractual language, which we're trying to work out. The fence agreements, I just need Matt's office to provide me with the applications, and I'll get those done so that we can have those ready for the town board.
Okay, Paul, just an update on the Pierce Road sewer extension. Dan was able to draft an RFP that was sent out yesterday to several engineering firms to get us design plans so that we can go out to bid. So that's progressing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the country club easements, the contractor is planning on starting the work around December 1st. So I'll be sending out a letter to the residents, again, just to remind them the scope of the work and just to give them a heads up so that they would be prepared and not be surprised when people start showing up in their backyards.
And for the resolution, I just need a list of all of the property owners and addresses, please.
Paul does
I'll
have that.
provide that. I'll
Yep.
provide that.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Okay, water and sewer maintenance.
Okay, so we're currently doing interviews to fill an open position that we have in the water and sewer crew.
Mhm.
We had one good interview, but we have a few more scheduled for this week. We'll have a name most likely before, or we will have a name before the board meeting, and hopefully before definitely before the packets are due, the information for the packets. Just the monthly update for raise purposes. We've had 3 water breaks that required roadway cuts on town roads. One of those breaks occurred on Durham Path. It was the nature of the break caused considerable damage to the pavement. So we need to bring in a contractor to do the work. We bid that out every year, but I still, because the dollar amount for this particular event exceeds my threshold, I just need a resolution. It's going to be about $15,000 to do the work.
Matt?
Yes,
Matt, hi. This is Ismet. A quick question. Is this for November board meeting?
it's for the
No,
yeah. Well,
it's for the highway meeting next month, right?
no, it's
Gotcha.
for
Okay.
this
It's
month's
for this
meeting.
month?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's for this
Thank
month's
you.
meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Hilltop Road, we're going to be extending the water main on Hilltop Road to provide some additional redundancy to the system up there. And I just need a resolution to purchase materials for that. It's going to be $15,000 roughly. Getting just the final numbers right now for some of the minor pieces. That exceeds my purchasing threshold. And the money would come out of the bonded money that we have for water main work. Wastewater treatment plant, an update on the high strength waste program. I have a phone call with DEC tomorrow morning. It's basically a technical staff meeting. It's having to do with the response to their most recent comments. And I think it's going to be a good meeting, get answer some questions more quickly than going back and forth by email. So I think I'll have a good update after that meeting, and I'll send around information. Let's see. The UV disinfection system, I mentioned it a month ago. There's a repair necessary for that. Finally did get a quote from the contractor and the vendor. It's going to be $22,384 to do the repair. That requires a board resolution. The cost will come out of the maintenance and repair line for the sewer plant. Item C, the contract renewal for sludge disposal at Albany landfill. We put it on there because we wanted to be proactive. Albany's not even doing that for 2022 yet.
Okay.
So we don't need to move on it right now. Kathy was in communication with them. I think they said they can go as far as March. So as soon as they're ready to accept the applications, we'll bring it in front of the board again. Water treatment plant, the well redevelopment project has finished. We were able to increase our water production significantly. Some of the wells have doubled in their production based to the condition they were prior to the work. We have too much water for the time of year right now, which is a good thing, a good problem to have.
Yes.
But it was a good project to do prior to the upgrade at the water plant so that we know now what our production is so that we can tailor the upgrades to the new water production. That's item B. It's just an update on the design. We had another meeting with the design engineer. They're progressing well with the plans. We're on track for a spring bid.
Great.
One minor issue came up at the plant with some of the antique equipment that we have on hand.
Yes.
So we had to call back the former chief operator to give us assistance because he was the only one that knew how to use the obsolete equipment. Unfortunately, the contract that we had with him that we signed after he left was only for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
We only used it once for one day. So we never did exceed any dollar amount for the contract, but his assistance ended up costing us $650. But I just need to modify the contract so that we can pay him.
Okay.
Utility billing, the second quarter corporate reconciliation is complete, and the third quarter 2021 corporate warrant is complete. Kathy and Chris have worked on that, and I want to thank them for all their work. Ready for resolution at the end of the month. Let's see, the utility billing software, the annual maintenance contract is up. It's going to be $9,300 to go forward next year. The only issue is that it keeps creeping up every year. And we've talked about changing software packages in the past, and maybe worthwhile looking at another one for, start looking at that process for next year,
Sounds good.
moving into 2023. We had some utility bills that were disputed. One was for 98 Killarney Drive. That resulted due to an estimate and the method in which we use for doing our estimates. It was been resolved. Chris did some additional calculations, and it looks as if a $93 refund is warranted for this property.
Oh, okay, good.
It had to do with just the method in which the software used for the estimate.
Understood.
2046 Van Rensselaer Drive contacted us as well with an issue. We did look into it, and it was a valid charge. They have a broken pipe that was identified by a member of the water crew. They're working to address that issue right now. So at this point, I don't think a refund would be warranted for that one. 5 Killarney is one additional one that I just added to the agenda. This had to do with an issue with a leaking toilet and maybe some other leaks in the house. Resident repaired that, but failed to send the bill in on time. So they were hit with a penalty, and they're asking to have the penalty refunded, but I really don't think, it was,
Okay.
I don't want to go down the road where every time someone makes a
Everybody, yeah,
mistake.
I know. I thought about that. The other one
I do
too.
thank them for fixing the issue,
Okay.
but it's a $32 refund they were
Okay,
requesting.
just make sure that we communicate with them. I don't want them
Yes.
to be surprised by any of it. That's
No,
all.
no problem. Chris will contact them, and we'll.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Recycling center, we're still looking for a second transfer station attendant.
Uh-huh.
Anyone who's interested, please contact us. Send me an email, go to the webpage. It's a unique job. It's can be rewarding as well. So hopefully we'll get some more applicants. If necessary, we can re-advertise. So the rest of the ones on here are just carried over from above for finance. Oh, the one question I did have, finance, Kathy did bring it up, the software, $99,300. That does look like it only requires finance committee approval.
Okay,
So that won't need a resolution. I'll take that off, and we'll just make sure that's on finance.
sounds good.
That's all I have. The next meeting?
Okay. December 2nd at 8:30. Be right here. All right, does anybody have anything else? Okay, if not, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for attending.